Let's see if anybody shows up from overseas. Let's see if anybody shows up. This is a test. A test to see how this whole thing works. Hey, what's up, folks? My man, what's up? All right. Oh, look at this. We got a bunch of people here. Look at that. How many folks here are outside of America? Anybody? That's what this stream is for. I know I have a decent amount of Australian fans. There we go. There you go, Scott. Cali, yeah, might as well be out of the country. I'm from California. I feel like people already know that though. Who else we have? But yes, happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, it is today. Today, you can't really see my screen here. This is what I'm working on right here. This is a project I'm editing. West Virginia. Hey, West Virginia, Nebraska. Look at this. This is amazing. I did not think this many people would pop up at 2 a.m. East Coast time. I was going to try and do this at midnight. I think midnight's just going to be my time now because I can't get shit in order by like 5 o'clock to do this. And I got children who pop into my office at any random ass time. And I'm not trying to get them on the live stream yet. People got to pay for that. Anyway, I'm trying to show you guys this right here. God bless him. All right, let me see if I can brighten this screen up. That's really weird. I guess I'll just move it over to this screen. This is a project I'm working on. And basically what I wanted to do was do a little bit of editing. And, if anybody got any questions or whatever, we can chat. Your videos get me through hard days of the week. Keep it up. Great work. You know what? How's the 11 kids? Well, 11 of them are good. Number 12, I don't know where he went. So this project over here, I think you can see it. It's just dark as fuck in here. I'm gonna turn my lights on. There we go. There you go. And you get the reflection of me. Okay. This is kind of a new office space. It's kind of barren here. We just moved here. I think I've told people we live in New Jersey right now. I think somebody said, "What's up from New Jersey?" Okay, let's see here. I'm trying to introduce you to this video that I'm working on. This is all about rivalries, right? And it stems from, that Joel Embiid, Carl Anthony Towns snuggle party, as Charles Barkley called it. And then I just started thinking about just rivalries, the state of the NBA and rivalries. What? Michael Spencer, I'm going to head to bed, but I support you big time. Oh, yeah. No. Go to bed, please. This is just a test. I'm only going to be on here for like 20 minutes. And then I'm out of here. But I just wanted to see. This is the first time. This is my first time here. First time. So you guys are here for my very first time. Yep, this is a very memorable moment for all of us. Okay, all 60 of us. My first time was with 60 people. Okay, so, and I was thinking about it. We don't really have any legitimate rivalries in the NBA. I say we, like I'm part of it. But there aren't any legitimate rivalries. If there are any rivalries that you think are notable, go ahead and write it in. You began the Coach K discussion. Thank you. Well, I don't feel like maybe I said it out loud that Coach K is some level of a fraud. Embiid versus Drake. But I think obviously the standard bearer for rivalries is this guy here, Magic, versus um, his longtime love interest, Larry Bird. And I mean, the problem is that they set the bar so high for what a rivalry is that we've never been able to match it again. So in this currently 42-minute video, I examine, where we've been with rivalries, what's going on now, and then all the near misses. That's what's interesting. Doug Christie uppercutting Rick Fox. Gosh, I got to remember. Okay, there's a lot of these. I guess I'm going to scroll back through here. So many things that I'm going to add from here. This conversation into this video because there's a lot of good ones in here. Chuck and San Antonio women. Yep. Steve Kerr and the Clippers. Okay, here's a perfect example. Somebody said Steve Kerr and the Clippers. The idea is that in the past 30 years, there have been a lot of heated matches. But usually what happens is it's a match between, or at least the way we bill it, is player versus team. Jordan versus the Knicks, or Bulls versus Knicks, Knicks versus Heat, Reggie Miller versus the Knicks. First, a lot of Knicks shit. The Heat versus the Knicks. Even with the Warriors and what's that team from Cleveland? It was never. Be honest with yourself, folks. It never was LeBron versus Steph. They never built it that way. It was LeBron versus the Warriors, Warriors versus the Browns, the Cavaliers. Yeah, I completely forgot what their name was. Rivalries are more player-based nowadays, not team-based. Let's see. Rangers King 669 says, I feel like rivalries are more player-based nowadays, not team-based. But that's what I'm getting at is that we don't have any proper rivalries. We have a lot of people who don't like each other. But you've got to, first of all, not like each other. Number two, you have to be relevant. Number three, the two players that are in a conflict, they need to be playing similar positions. Because back to the Steph versus LeBron thing, it just doesn't work. They didn't have head-to-head matchups in the games. There's a handful of plays where LeBron guarded Steph and Steph embarrassed him. And then there's a handful of plays where LeBron swats the shit out of Steph's layup and nobody cares. LeBron flexes and he tries to scowl at Curry, and then Curry just walks away and doesn't care because little guys get the shots blocked all the time. If anybody's seen that video that I made 2.5 years ago about short people problems, nobody cares. If you're a little guy, if you're Isaiah Thomas and the modern one, and you get your shot blocked, nobody cares. He doesn't care. It just happens. So seeing some giant, some literal giant, 6'8", 7 foot tall, blocking a 6'2" guy's shot, nobody cares. It doesn't beef up a rivalry. It just looks regular. So anyway, that entire time, LeBron versus Steph was not a real rivalry. It was the team. It was team-based. And then obviously we have LeBron jumping from team to team. So none of his teams actually mattered. So then you look back, what was the closest thing we had? We clearly had, we almost had, let's see here. We got some good ones here. Let's say Celtics and Sixers are a rivalry. Celtics and Sixers, we're close, right? We're so close to something. But I think we have to have a sustained competitiveness for, 5 years and relevancy before we can actually say that was a damn good rivalry. And also, I'm really looking for player rivalries. Rivalries. I'm sick of saying the word rivalry. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. Like I'm throwing a B in there. Rivalries. It could just be because it's 2:00 in the morning. Oh, it's only 2:00. Oh, okay. Anyway, I'll get back to there. Let me catch up with some of these. We had Wizards and Celtics, MJ versus Pistons. See, That's a great one. And I actually mentioned it in this video over here that I'm working on. Um, somewhere around the 17-minute mark. I mentioned MJ versus the Pistons, but that's what we're talking about here. It's player versus team. And all I'm looking for before I exit this earth is another player versus player that we all agree is the premier rivalry. And if Joel Embiid doesn't fuck around, if he doesn't blow it and get a little too dramatic and scare people off, because that's what he does, he gets way too dramatic and he just completely drops the character. And or actually, no, he plays too much into the character and he just scares people away for actual sustained rivalries. If he manages this properly, him and Carl Anthony, because it's Carl hyphen Anthony, not Carl Anthony Towns, it's Carl Anthony, which is strange. Carl Anthony, they could be a rivalry. And you know what's beautiful about them? The beauty, my eyes are red. The beauty in this Embiid and Simmons are Embiid disappoints a lot. Yes, he does. Oh, look at this. Somebody's monitoring. Oh, somebody wrote a bad word, so it says I can hide this. Oh man, people, YouTube is flagging some of your comments here. We're not trying to flag comments here. I'm letting everything through. No moderators yet. Talk about Kyrie IG story post. Oh, wait. Okay, I gotta ask somebody about this Kyrie IG story post because I don't know about it. But let me finish my sentence here because I'm just talking to myself. Nobody can interrupt me. I'm just talking to myself. The beauty in Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid is that they're 7-footers. And there's nothing the NBA gets right more than the concept of a 7-footer, right? You don't get that in any other sport. There's no other small size quantifier that immediately lets you know that these players are dominant, premier, and relevant, right? You say 7-footer, it's something you have to reckon with. Here comes the 7-footer, right? So you have two legitimate 7-footers, and we haven't had that since. All right, can anybody guess the last time we had a 7-footer versus a 7-footer? All right, I'm watching here. Let's see, anybody? Last time we had, my behind, Alexander. Nah, man, I'm tired. It's not Mondays. Mondays, that's for that. That's when I get Wilt versus Bill Russell. See, you're going back because that was the last time before Magic Bird that we had a rivalry. And, you can argue that that's even a rivalry. That wasn't even a rivalry. There was no competitiveness there. Shaq versus Yao. There we go. It's funny. Somebody said it, and then a bunch of people say it. Who's the first person here? Jelani Brown. Jelani Brown. Nope. We have Shaq versus Yao. From Trapstar IG, Shap Yao. Shaq and D-Rob. Nope, Jace. Jace Rain. There we go. That's the first one. There's our winner. Let's see here. I'm going to block Jace Rain from... No, I'm just kidding. What can I do here? I'm going to give you a shout out on the next video of Jace. All right. But what happened with that? That was so manufactured. That rivalry was so manufactured. Shaq versus Yao. That's what it was. We wanted it to be something so bad. And that's the problem. I don't have a problem with manufactured rivalries. Who cares? Right? As long as they live up to it, as long as the players actually are competitive and the teams are competitive, I don't care how manufactured it was. I mean, then you start thinking about Kobe versus LeBron. That was manufactured. Everybody was doing their entire part to get that one off the ground. And it just never materialized. That was it. Does anybody remember in the All-Star game? I don't know, 2003, maybe? No, I don't know. Whenever that was, 2007, not 2003. Definitely not 2003. 2007, 2009. Um, Kobe went close game. Kobe went head to head with LeBron, and I think he scored on him. And the next play, LeBron comes down. I'm basically giving away my entire video here, by the way. Everything I'm talking about is basically in this video. Here, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of this in a second. And then LeBron was one on one. Everybody's backing off. Kobe's right in his face, and LeBron defers. He passes the ball. Keem versus Patrick. I wish. Shaq versus D. Robinson. I mean, they didn't have sustained competitiveness where it was. I mean, you know what? They did. They were competitive. They were. But it really wasn't player versus player. There was no rivalry with David Robinson. You know, he never rose to an occasion where he was willing to participate in a 1-versus-1 rivalry. So Hakeem, I think there's some arguments there that he may have had some rivalries. You look back in his early years, Hakeem is an interesting guy because he was back in the 80s battling with, Larry Bird. They went to the finals. Hakeem and Ralph Sampson. Every time somebody tries to talk about injuries in the finals, they're like, oh, what about Kevin Love? Oh, what about Kyrie Irving or the Warriors this year? Like, oh, yeah, we would have won this year. I'm just like, what about Ralph Sampson? Come on, guys. Ralph Sampson. What about him? If he wouldn't have been injured, the history of the NBA would have been different. So anyway, LeBron goes up against, and he passes the ball. He defers. Guy misses the shot, but it bounces back. Ball gets back to LeBron. There's seconds left on the clock, and everybody resets. Kobe backs off a little bit. LeBron has the ball. Clock's winding down. I'm going to find this clip so we can just watch it together. And then guess what LeBron does again? This is the All-Star game. He passes the ball again. He dumps it off to some jackass who shoots it and misses. And then Kobe gets in LeBron's face with the all-time disappointment and rage. He looks at LeBron. He's like, what is wrong with you, man? And LeBron's got that little dopey face. It was a while ago. He's like, oh, thinking that he's trying to be Magic and not Michael. So that was the end of that. That really was the end of that. Let's see here. Will Romano. Pascal's prime candidate for a rivalry in a couple years. Man, I hope Pascal really refines his game. I mean, he's good, but he's a mess. And he's got enough energy, and he's big enough to really, I think, sustain a rivalry. You got a lot of these smaller guys, Trae Young, who talk a lot of shit, and I don't think they're going to gain a rival other than just being them versus the world. So rivalries really are built for bigger guys, except when we were handed this on a platter, and it could have been perfect. I got to go through these questions or these comments. You guys are some jackass talking about an All-Star game. That's what I'm saying. Leon Chittery says some jackass talking about an All-Star game. That's what I'm talking about. LeBron didn't even have the guts to go one-on-one in an All-Star game. And now let me find that clip, because LeBron looked like an idiot. Okay. We had this one rivalry set up on a platter for us, and it was point guard versus point guard. Maybe about 7 years ago. Can anybody guess what the rivalry of the future was? It was a point guard versus a point guard, and it had all the making. They were both relevant. CP3 versus Rondo. Steph versus Rondo. Come on. No. Darren Williams. Wow. Man, I just put a video together. I talked a lot about Darren Williams. That guy broke down mentally. I think had something to do with the hairline. Two point guards about 7 years ago. Come on, guys. 8 years ago. D Rose and Russ. No. Frozen versus Russ. CP3 versus Steph. Thank you, Eddie. Jesus. Eddie, you win. Let's see here. Let me write your name down. CP3 versus Steph. They had 2 years of high quality competitiveness, and they were both leading their teams. They were meeting in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, we all know what happened. The Warriors just took off, and it wasn't competitive anymore. But it was right there. We had the makings of what should have been a long sustained rivalry. And I mean, those Clippers, man, the Lob City Clippers, do you remember when they beat the Spurs in 7 games in the first round? Remember that? And Chris Paul, it's like at the end of game 6 or something. I don't know, game 7 maybe. He drove and he threw it high off the glass at the buzzer, and he acted like he had just won. That was his personal championship. That was his championship moment. Steph did have that ankle breaker, and we had in exactly. Steph had the ankle breaker, which was a seminal, iconic moment within the rivalry. And that's what you need. That's why Steph versus LeBron wasn't a rivalry, because we weren't going to get those type of moments where one player was all in on the other player. All we were going to get from Steph and LeBron was Steph taking him out to the three-point line and going around him with the world's slowest behind the back crossover. I am such a big Steph Curry fan, but I am not disillusioned. I don't know how he gets around people with the world's slowest behind the back crossover. I don't get it. I mean, I know he at any point he could pull up and shoot. And I think that keeps people on their toes, but it always looks so slow. Him compared to like Kyrie Irving, and people would say, who's got the best handles? Who's best handles in the league? Steph and Kyrie. I'd always kind of cringe and say, I don't know. Steph doesn't really have those handles. I mean, but I'm just being honest. All right. Back to back dunk rivalries. Kyrie has better. Oh, by far. Latrell Sprewell versus PJ Carlesimo. Gosh. Man, I was in the Bay Area around that time. That was prime time for me. I was going to Warriors camp back then, each summer, going to the Oakland Arena, playing on the court. Let's see, Greek Freak versus the Unicorn. That would, there. Okay. How about this for the next minute or so? Go ahead and drop in what. Let's just pretend that whoever you put in there automatically becomes an MVP caliber player. Who would be the perfect rivalry? Just based on the personalities or whatever your dream situation is. And once you type it in, we're going to assume that they are MVP caliber players and their teams are great. I want to know Siakam versus Giannis. Siakam. Luka versus Trey. This is the problem because the size difference. Fred VanVleet versus Steph. I should just end this thing right now. Really? Really? LeBron versus Kawhi. Lance versus Draymond. Okay, so we're just going for more jokes than actual answers. I'm fine with that. I actually like this. I promote that. My mom versus your mom. Not a chance. No. Your mom has no chance. No chance. Colin Patrick Beverly versus Draymond. What's your opinion on? I'm talking to you, all of you, as if you are a singular person. Is Patrick Beverly a faker or not? Let's see. I'm telling you, Lonzo Ball versus Jason Tatum. Okay, see, now we got something. David. That's ambitious. I like that because you're digging deep. You're actually looking for people who are on the cusp of being good. And they would definitely guard each other, I think. They're on the same height, I think. So Lonzo Ball versus Jason Tatum. I like that. That's creative. Faker. Yes, he's a faker. Faker. Lonzo versus dad. Faker. Beverly. Massive flopper. I think there might have been a time when Patrick Beverly was good at defense or was a tenacious player, but that's back when nobody believed in him and people, he had that motivation. The problem is, as soon as you start going out there, do you remember what's the guy's name? Tony something or other in Memphis. He'd run around talking about number one team, all defense. What was that guy's name? Once you start sticking your finger up talking about all team defense on the court, you're no longer good at defense. Tony Allen, thank you. Thank you. Man, you guys are great. All right. LeVar versus Stephen A. Smith. Tony Douglas. If Harden can be considered an all-time scorer for flopping his way to be a free throw, and Pat Bev can be respected as a defender. Interesting. Question is his method effective? I always liked watching Patrick Beverly. I'm not call him Pat Beverly. What's interesting about him is that he always seems sticky. Like the way he defends people, he's like he gets caught up and stuck in people. Yep. And then they start to fall down, and he falls down like he's stuck to them. So he's just like he's like that guy on the court that's just really dirty, and he's like just sticks to you because he's just sweaty and dirty. And I guess that was his defense, and he's turned it into a profession, I guess. All right, we're wrapping this thing up. I'm going to go through all these because you guys have added some great commentary here that I really, really, really appreciate. And I didn't even get to share this with you. I'm trying to pull up the clip of Kobe getting mad at LeBron. Kobe mad at LeBron All-Star game. Look at that. I really want to show this. Yes, here we go. Let's see if you guys can see this. I'll bring it over here. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. God, this looks like crap. Okay. 12 seconds. Down 2. Passes it to Darren Williams. Darren Williams misses. Rebound. Look at this. Ugh. Look at this. What's that jackass with his hands up? That's what happened. Okay, here we go. Darren Williams gets the ball back. This is after he missed his shot. He gets it back to LeBron. Everybody knows what's supposed to happen. 6 seconds left. LeBron has the ball. Kobe's playing defense. Down by 2. He does a little fake. That's like a nervous fake. You see that? He got a little nervous here because Kobe's playing up on him. All right. And he doesn't even think about it. He's going to do one of his cross-court passes. That's Steph style because he flings it over with one hand and gets it intercepted. LeBron's usually better at that. 2012 All-Star game. Okay. And picked off by Blake. And he tries to shoot it. Okay. By Blake Glurfin. Blake Glurfin picks it off. And here it is. Here we go. Look at Carmelo right there. Carmelo right there is already like, what the fuck? What is wrong? And LeBron's got his little shy smile, his little shy, embarrassed. I don't know. I just passed the ball. There it is. You can see a little better there. Now watch. Now here comes Kobe. And sure, I'm some jackass talking about the All-Star game, right? I know. John Stockton versus letting someone else pass the ball in an all-time rivalry. Gosh, these comments are great. I'm just gonna read these comments and go to sleep reading comments. I barely ever read the comments, like more than the first 20 on my videos these days. I should, but tonight I'm actually gonna go through these comments. Hey, Mojo! Hey, there he is. What's up, Mojo? Um, I'm not blocking you anymore on Twitter or muting you. Um, the whole um, November thing that you were doing, I just couldn't deal with any more of those particular tweets about what you're trying to do in November. But I hope that worked out for you. But I don't know. I'm a little too old for those particular type of November related tweets. Okay. Anyway, I'm just joking. Kobe, look at this. We got Carmelo, who's already embarrassed for LeBron, and here it comes. Look, here he is. Look how mad he is. Man, go that way. Damn, he says. Look at that. Look how upset Kobe is. That's a competitor, man. Mad at LeBron for not stepping up. And here's LeBron making up some excuse back when his headband was only about 3 inches above his eyebrows before it went up a few more notches. And look at him trying to make an excuse. Oh, over there, it was wide open. Kobe is looking at him with no respect right now. Not cool. Oh, and then we got Reggie Miller talking about, oh, well, they were going for the three. They're going for the win. Like they were as if they were listening to some play, as if there was some God blessed play that LeBron was listening to, whoever the coach was. And he's like, okay, coach, what's the play? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And that was the second where this was never going to become a rivalry. And look at Carmelo Anthony. He knows. He knows. Sorry, no, you weren't fouled on the three, on the half-court three, Blake Glurfin. You were not fouled on the half-court three, Blake. This dopey face. He's actually in the video, too. I talk about him because he got the reputation for being soft, right? And that's because he didn't want to play along. He didn't feel like playing along with all that. But eventually, you have to. Eventually, you have to play along at some point. All right, I got to get out of here. It's late. Let's see here. Ian, what's up, Ian? In order for it to be a real rivalry, God, I can't say that word. The other team has to win sometimes. I didn't even realize Detroit for Chicago was a rivalry until Chicago finally won the series. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't even realize it's a rivalry until it's over. Until that one team that can never get over that hurdle, that hump, finally gets over that hump. And then you're like, whoa, look at that 5-year rivalry. A lot of times you're assessing things in retrospect. You're looking at them and you're deeming them. That was a great competitive rivalry that lasted 5 years, 6 years, whatever it was. We rarely get an opportunity to enjoy it in the moment, and that's what I'm talking about in this next video. Here, let me finally follow through with one thing that I say and show you a little bit of what I'm working on. Let's see here. Here we go. Let's see. This is great. I'm going to do this more often.
2 7-footers.
There we go. Can you see this? I don't know if it's my laptop. I'm not this technically inept. This computer screen should be much more visible. Here we go.
Moment the NBA could have wished for in years.
Here we go.
2 7-footers.
Dr. J versus Larry. I think a few Eastern Conference Finals in a row before Malone. You know, Dr. J, man, I got to talk about that guy. He's one of the most disrespected, well, not disrespected, but just ignored. Nobody really cares about Dr. J. I'll just say it. Anybody want to argue with that? Anybody around here like worried about Dr. J, thinking about him? Dr. Dre, yeah, but not Dr. J. Philly still loves him. Of course, I'm not talking about local Nobody cares. Good man. Dr. Dre is the man. Dr. J is underappreciated. Yeah, I guess, but nobody cares about. Okay, so Jace, you already won earlier. Why are you talking about you care about Dr. J? Really, when was the last time you thought about Dr. J? When was the last time you thought about what he was doing that day? You don't care. You haven't sent him flowers. You don't care about him. You haven't written him a fan letter. When was the last time you tweeted about Dr. J? I'm gonna go on Twitter and find out when the last time anybody tweeted about Dr. J. Nobody cares about him. He's just a blip, right? Because he was stuck in between eras. Right before Magic and Bird dominated the beginning of the actual NBA. Once they defined the modern NBA, what basketball was, what it could be, uh, and he was stuck there before that, just messing around with people like Moses Malone, another guy nobody cares about. God, I'm gonna make a list about the top 10 players that nobody actually cares about. Dr. J, Moses Malone, nobody. Yeah, I probably would have said John Stockton, but it turns out a lot of people care about him. Clyde Drexler, nobody cares about. Three players. Who else is on that list of people that nobody actually cares about? Jerry, are you saying Jerry West? Tyreek? Jerry West? I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Let's see. Ewing. No. I care about Ewing. But I get it. I get it though. Chris. Oh, Chris Webber. Oh, it's true. That's absolutely true. Nobody gives a shit about Chris Webber. All right, who's our list? Dr. J, Moses Malone, Clyde Drexler, Chris Webber. We need 10 of these guys. And then I'll tweet it out. Or you guys can tweet it out. I don't care who tweets it out, as long as it's the official list. All right. We got top 10 players nobody cares about. Dr. J, Webber, Moses. You know, somebody might say Ralph Sampson, but I'm not talking about people who got injured. These people need to have full-blown careers. David Robinson, no. People care about him. Grant Hill, people cared about him. Alonzo Moore, no, he's got a weird audience that's very loyal to him. T-Mac, nope. Iverson, Joe Dumars. Interesting. What do you think about that, Ian? I know you're on here somewhere. Lamar Odom, nah, he's too relevant. Tim Hardaway, nope. He had a fan base. Kevin McHale, no. Any of those Celtics in the '80s, they've got a very diehard crowd. I pull up a couple clips for you. People talking about those '80s Celtics. They love those particular players. Pistol Pete, nah. Jason Kidd, Sam Jones. Interesting. Bob McAdoo, but remember when he got left off the 50 greatest, and that's when I feel like his name came up a lot. Did he get left off the 50 greatest? And then what happens is a lot of times these players get disrespected, and then you realize who their fan base is. Clyde. I know I've said this before, but Clyde Drexler, just his nickname, right? Clyde the Glide. Michael Jordan is out here flying. He's in the Air Jordan, right? And his competitor, his main rival, is gliding. Gosh, he set himself up for that. Everything was like a derivative of Jordan. Everything, even the haircut. He couldn't shave his head. He had to keep the sides. For some reason. All right, I got to look at this list. Wes, I'll put him in the maybe pile. Wes. I have a Wes Unseld basketball card, and that disappointed the crap out of me because it wasn't worth anything. People keep saying Karl Malone. No, people care about Karl Malone. Maybe list would be Dominique. I feel like a lot of people care about him, Mojo, let me know. How's the Atlanta fan base out there? But the thing is, I don't think people really care about him. This is a very nuanced, particular type of list. Because it's not that people don't like them or people aren't fans or they never had fans. It's that people don't really care about them or think about them on a regular basis. They're not looking them up for their highlights, they're not reminiscing about them. They're not popping up on people's lists, whatever the particular lists are. Dominique pops up a lot, but I don't think people really care about him. All right, let me check this. Anthony Mason, Earl the Pearl. George Gervin. Wait, I think Mojo said George Gervin. Glenn Rice. Bob Cousy. No, Bob Cousy. Elvin Hayes. Maybe. Steve Nash is an interesting one. He's coming around. I think he's going to get a lot more respect, specifically because of Trey Young. Trey Young. Recently, I did a mashup of his face. Let me see if I have it. Where is it? Trey Young's face. There it is. People seem to like this. Don't ask me why I did it. I just did it, okay? I did it because of the angles. It worked. See? Look at that. That looks like a person. That's a damn good edit right there. That's a damn good edit. Elton Brand. There's a player that nobody cares about. I'll put him in the standby section. This might be harder than I thought to come up with 10. Nobody's arguing with Dr. J, Chris Webber, Moses Malone, and Clyde Drexler. Anybody arguing with those? Anybody arguing with those? David Robinson. Everyone's why David Robinson has a fan base. Bill Walton. In his retirement, he's made waves. And he's also controversial because he only played a few years and he got a ton of notoriety for those years. So I think people care about him. The idea is that people don't have to like him. They just have to think about him. Michael Thompson is the Oracle. Bernard, Mr. Williams, you said Michael Thompson, Klay Thompson's dad. Michael Thompson is the Oracle. Everything he says, everything he predicts comes true. Follow that man, and whatever he says, if he says invest all your money in, cat food, do it. That guy, he predicted all the Warriors' success before it ever happened. He said they were good. He said the year they won 73, he said this year it's 70 wins or bust. Like, he knew it was going to happen. Anyway, okay, enough about the guy. Jerry Sloan, David Thompson. Okay, now Michael Finley. Wow. He was somebody for a while, right? Michael Finley was somebody. All right, let's just get to 5. Can we just get one more and then I got to go to bed? Or not go, I don't go to bed. I don't sleep. All right. Here's the other one I made. This Trey Young one with this nice, wonderful middle-aged white man or little boy haircut. I actually think this looks better than his current hair style. But then I did this one, and this was my little social experiment. I put George Mikens, I put Luka's face on George Mikens' body. I also think it's a pretty damn good edit. People were not excited about that. People didn't really give a crap about that. People gave a crap about that. Wes. All right, whatever. You guys win. Wes moves up to the pile of nobody cares about Wes. I guess enough people don't care about him. Unsilled. It's unselled. That's an unfortunate last name. All right, there's our 5. We got to build this list up to 10, and then I'll mention it somewhere. Eventually, it'll go in a video. The 10 players nobody really cares about. All right, guys. Oh, what was the question? Alexander Sparks says, I was trying to come up with 10 players that nobody really cares about. It's not that they don't, it's not that people don't like him. It's not that people don't hate these players. It's that people don't really care about them. They're not thinking about them when they're making their lists or reminiscing about great times. They're not thinking about these guys. They just get lost in the mix and um, kind of just discarded from our daily basketball discussions. And the premier player on that list is Dr. J. Whoever said Chris Webber was a great addition. I was such a Chris Webber fan. No, Scotty, no. Kiki Vanderway. That's unfortunate. Can we talk about Kiki? Preston K said Kiki Vanderway. This is why this is why there are rules to nicknames. And you don't enter the league with a nickname that your grandmother came up for you. There is no place for a grandmother's nickname in the NBA because you end up with nicknames like Kiki and Boo Boo and Pooh and Lil Peepee. These are nicknames that do not belong outside of the house. And Kiki really did grow up and keep that nickname from his grandma. That's a damn shame. The only Kiki I know is the one who worked at the Apollo. Kiki Shepard. That's the only Kiki I know. All right. Earl the Pearl. All right. Good night. You guys are great. Literally love the concept of you guys. Don't mess with Drex. That dude is Amari. Amari. No. No. Elvin Hayes. Mitch Richmond. That's what I'm talking about. Mitch Richmond. I'm not putting him on the main list, but he's definitely going to go on the standby list. Top players nobody really cares about. Let's see. That would be TPNRCA. Tip and Rika. All right, guys. You guys are wonderful. I appreciate this. We'll do this again. Richard, you can go to hell. The entirety of Run TMC. That's such a bad take that you are going to get the one put down of the day. And I'm going to have to say it. Richard, you clearly don't know basketball. Richard F. But you can hang around, though. You can definitely hang around. All right. Good night. Night. Peace out. Wait, as we go out, I'm going to play some of this video.
Enough. And this was their moment. History may recount this slightly altered from reality, because even at their ends, they still attempted a modern way out with this simultaneous attempt to draw foul.
Adobe Premiere Pro. Somebody asked what editing software I use.
Bag of options where all that remained was their ultimate destiny, man to man. But no, Charles, rivalry. It was the climax of a slow, extended build that included one man that had avoided conflict to the death.
All right, enough of that. Peace out.